TFN. Thanks for loving us. We love you too as well. Yes, happy birthday also to everybody else. Nga wakuza ku weekend tetwakutegeddeko batwakutegeddeko. Yes, happy birthday. God bless you. We are here. It's another story of childlessness, okay, that later bore twins. Amazing children. Welcome to the show, Inze Farida. MWASUZE MUTYA. Yes, we have an amazing mother here, Mukyala Phiona Nanozi. Yalebukana n'okufuna ezzadde. Yes, but ekironyi tiye ekizibu kye yakitegeerako much earlier before she even started to think of having children. But God blessed her with amazing children. Era azze agumya abakyala mwena bali eyo nga olwana okufuna omwana. Sometimes it's a matter of time and also seeking knowledge on whatever it is that is happening with you. Good morning, Phiona. Nalongo.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
You don't look like a Nalongo. Try to imagine Nalongo.
When you see me with my kids, people think they are my sister's children in most cases.
Bakuze.
Bakulu kati bayina emyaka 3 and they're big boys.
Abo be bakulu. Giants at 3 years. Abo tuna abasobola.
Simanyi.
Lwaki balowooza nti basister wo? Balaba gwoli kapeti.
Balaba nga ndi mutini. Ne bangamba, gwazaala bano abaana.
Nedowooza otambula nabo everywhere.
Sometimes they are actually a handful. That's the truth. But they are joy. Mukubeera nga bankozesa.
Bakoso deno deri ate sibe balenzi tebatuula
bampoganya
boka boyina
boka benna.
Okay, okyalinza abalala oba kikumala okusinza ku byewayitamu, that is all you needed?
Right now kati wombuuza ndi confused kuba olwasooka nali ngamba byempiseemu bano bengenda okukomako naye oluusi ekyo ekintu ky'okubeera omuzadde n'okwagala abaana tekigenda ate ndowooza oba omanyi nti olina ekizibu olina engeri na your mind plays with you nobeera
oba nga human nature bweri, when you get you want more,
when you get more and more, or woba okimanyi nti I can't get, you even want it more.
Okay. so process gye wayitiramu ne bano gyolina n'ofuniramu aba life you must get.
I think so.
So kizibu kyatandika ddi?
So nze ekizibu nakitegeera, okay, sakitegeera nti kizibu as such, naye okuva lwe nagenda mu puberty, that's when omuwala atandika okubeera ne period. Nze natandika late. I think most of my peers batandika maybe when S1, S2.
That is around 13?
Yes.
12, 13.
12, 13. I started mine at about maybe 15. Which was, yeah, a bit, maybe like 2 years later than most people. Naye nali search twalanga kikulu because, yeah, I thought it was something normal. Naye era newe natandika it was very unstable. Nga mfuna period like this month and I missed maybe like 2 or 3 months. But I didn't tell anyone. Lwakuba nali manyi nti search twalanga kikulu basically.
Kubanga era batugamba omwana omwaka ogwo ogusooka abeera unstable.
Naye nze nera nasigala bwentyo up to when I realized nti actually kizibu. So
nga banno babuuzaako bo.
Nali sina gwembuuza. Nali sina gwembuuza lwakuba omanyi woba okyali muto womisinga period yo osanyuka stress oba togenda kuba na stress.
I know.
So nze nali nkitwala, I took it
blessing.
Nga ngamba if I miss 2 months, 3 months, I am okay. I'm not going to be suffering. Nga abalala abafuna period buli mwezi. Then natandika ddi okwagala okumanya lwaki ezange ziri irregular. That I should say on campus. That's kubanga kati campus you have a bit more information from school, from hearing people talk about it, or manyanti okay chempitamu yes what they I'm enjoying it that I don't get a period every month naye kiyinza okubanga kiyinza okubaako obuzibu. But era ne campus I didn't seek help lwakuba nali sirowooza nti kizibu at all. So when namala campus renasooka okulaba omusawo.
Okay.
And at that time I had medical insurance. Nengamba, you know what? Let me go and do general. Let me go and I just do general checks on everything. So when I get to a doctor, I just told him about my irregular period also. Nemugamba, but I also have irregular periods. How often? Nemugamba, I can in a year. Ngambira ne period ngemi
emirundi esatu
or at most maybe.
No get only 2 in a year.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
Naye ne nkolachi kati we yangamba ekyo ne mubuuza kiriko obuzibu oba tekirina buzibu. Nangamba it can be resolved depending on what you want. So depending on what you want, nangamba oba oyagala kufuna period, we can stabilize it. Oba oyagala when you're ready, ndoza naye yandabanga nkyali muto, nangamba when you're ready to have children, we can also sort that out. So nze we yangamba nengamba it is okay.
The periods can stay there. Temwagenda maaso nomugamba okay, let me stabilize the periods.
When namubuuza how can I stabilize my period? Nangamba, I think the main way that they stabilize periods is using the birth control pills. So nangamba, tusobola okuteeka ku birth control pills, they will, because they are hormones, they will stabilize your period. Katinze period yange yali tejja because it is a hormonal imbalance. Naye era kati naye we yali angamba, he didn't explain okumbuulira what is the cause, oba kitegeeza ki okubeera ne hormonal imbalance, oba kisobola kuviirako buzibu ki.
Yeah, again straight ku possible solutions.
Yambulira bubuuzi, this is the possible solution. So we yangamba birth control pills. Olaba otuba ku campus oba when you're growing up, there's all this sex education talk abasomesa bebabawa
namwe abaana bwennyini mubeera mwennyini.
Kati muline ngamba nga owulira abantu boogera ku side effects za birth control pills. Muline ngamba, if I take these birth control pills, one, my mother might land on them. What will she think? Two, the side effects of people become or get job bichi ngamba. Actually, ekyo nali sikiwulirangako naye nze kye nali nfaako nti zigenda ku my physical appearance is going to change and someone will tell that I'm on birth control pills. Ate kati omuntu amanya nti oli ku birth control pills, it is
amanya nti olina byokola ebya sitaani.
Yet agenda kulowooza nti it's a medical
condition gy'ogezaako okulwanyisa. So
I didn't. Kubanga nze nange okumira eddagala sikyagala. So kati naye mulinze nga nzijukira yangamba, at any one point, if there's anything I need to resolve, it will be resolved. So,
okay. To again, Okufuna second opinion, about you just went to read more about hormonal imbalance.
I actually did not read because then I was confident in the information the doctor had given me. So sagenda mumaso kusoma, I was not interested. Obango chali mutotobiro. These things of starting a family, actually,
it's a given, it's a must. It will happen.
When the time comes,
it will happen.
It will happen when you want it to. And also because the doctor had given me that confidence, and we can, if it's this that you want, we tujja kikolako. So muli nze nali sikifudde ekonyo. So I didn't read neddagala lyali, in fact nava mu ddwaliro nga nina my birth control pills to take, and I just threw them away. Okay. Because I didn't want to keep them.
So ng'ogyeko periods okuba tezaali regular, waliwo ebintu ebirala ebyajjirako ku hormonal imbalance.
Naye later kati now because I am more informed about what it means, I can see signs that I have which are a hormonal imbalance. So the hormonal imbalance means that I have more of there's kati abasajja balina hormones ze babazaala nazo
progesterone.
Yeah, like the female hormone in them is suppressed and their male hormone it takes over. Then in women, our male hormones are suppressed and the female hormones take over. Now for me, I have a certain male hormone that is higher than it should be. And some of the symptoms of like a hormonal imbalance can be deep voices. I have really deep. I have a deep voice, especially the morning. My husband is that who laughs at me. He keeps reminding me of the time apparently when he was vibing me ngangamba. He would call.
Musajja munange wasuze otya.
Then someone picks up. Hello, Nagamba. Can I talk to Phiona? And I'm like, this is me. So we laugh about it. Then also sometimes you have like male pattern like distribution of hair. So I have me mine a little, and also my husband helps me to twist them out. So Tabuliko, but when I look in the mirror, sometimes I can. Some people have more of so those are also symptoms of a hormone. You have a higher male hormone. Some people don't even have the symptoms, the physical symptoms. Then while you have a male structure. Yeah, like your body is more of a male. Many symptoms I don't have physical symptoms. So for me, the main symptom, hormonal imbalance, is irregular period. Okay. Kubanga, the reason I have an irregular period is your hormone messing an ovaries. So the ovaries don't produce eggs every month the way it should. So for me, it's like an internal major symptom that I have. Okay.
Okay, so tuko otambula obeerawo ne irregulars.
Nga ne irregulars zange, then you meet someone, and later when you're, yes, I had actually disclosed, because I mean the person knows that, okay, this ono muntu alina irregular period naye nga wengambe tetwakibala nnyo. Then wetwali tutuuse kati we are ready to start a family, and you're trying but the pregnancy is not happening. Retatandika that's when I started thinking a lot about it. Nengamba, okay, this hormonal problem that I have. Now, then I started understanding what the meaning of a missed period is. Nentegera, okay, that means there's nothing to fertilize. Yeah. Naye later nenchizwa no chizura nti ne obanga ofunye period, especially us who have this hormonal imbalance, it doesn't mean that an egg was released. It's just because your lining your uterus is just being washed away, because over all these months that over the again and period, omubiri go, because of the female hormone that you have, and you're supposed to have like a monthly cycle, omubiri automatically preparing a uterus, nothing comes. Preparing uterus, then eventually so that's when sometimes you have a period, but it does a period. It was actually normal and short, 3 days, and that's it.
Okay, with real bleeding. Civil sporting.
No, it wouldn't be sporting, it would be real bleeding. So chovola banzoba nalisi chifude kwenye kwa inafunanga period, it looked like a normal period. So search for it's until then katinga. We are now trying first month, second month. Nentandiko kusoma nenchizula nti okay. The reason I'm not getting pregnant is because there is no egg. So kati what do we do? Kati, and I used to talk, there's a workmate of mine that I used to talk to at some former place that I worked. Nambulira, waliwo gynecologist, many of my friends have gone there, you can maybe see him. He was an elderly guy, I think, known around town. So, nampa contact ne tugenda.
Mwagenda mwembere, mister?
No, I went alone. I explained to him what I was going through. Nangamba, nemugamba, I had done hormonal tests several years back. Nangamba, we have to repeat, because if it's more than a year, those ones are not valid anymore. Hormones zichoka every now and then.
Okay, tandika okwebuuza ku banno nga waisewo bbanga ki of you searching for a pregnancy?
I would say it was maybe a year or more than a year of now I am thinking about it, but it's not happening. So when agenda okulaba your gynecologist, netukola tests nangamba, okay, you have hormonal imbalance, which just reconfirmed what I already knew. And he told me, oh, we can, because now I came and told him I am trying to get pregnant, but the pregnancy is not happening. So for him, he knew what I wanted. We can sort it out this way or the other way. Nangamba, I'm going to give you a tablet. The tablet was called Clomid to help you
releasing
which I took, and the pregnancy actually happened.
Wow.
However, it was not, I should say, it was not like a valid pregnancy because, yeah, I lost it. So how did I lose it? When the pregnancy happened, you now start going for those checks, and at 6 weeks you go back to check for a heartbeat.
Antenatal.
Antenatal ngatinatandika. Those first weeks okola scan okulaba if there's a heartbeat. Now, okay, now I understand it better why they do some of those initial tests because of my experiences with these things now. So when again those very first weeks okola scan, nebasanganga munda the sac has developed. So sac is where the child should be growing, or the fetus, whatever. Ngatemuli. And the doctor told me, okay, let's give it another 2 weeks. You come back, we do another scan. I think sometimes maybe there's like late development. I really don't know that in medical. But I think the other reason he also was kind of giving me hope is because he could see how desperate I probably was. Yes. Because and maybe the disappointment that I would have with Wakola scanning guy. Yeah, the sac is there. I don't see anything yet, but let us give it time. 2 weeks later, netudayo. Never sang. It was still the same thing. Katiche nakola, I went to another hospital for a second opinion. Because now I was becoming very anxious and netugenda, and yeah, I went to a different hospital and nevangamba. We can see the sac in the uterus, but we don't see anything inside the uterus. So I asked the guy, so what does that mean? Nangamba, you're probably going to miscarry it anytime soon. Because I think that's what happens. Normally, the body usually rejects, wherever the pregnancy is not valid, it's going to reject it. Mine did not happen. And
you didn't miscarry?
No, I didn't.
So not getting up to how many months?
Up to 3 months, which is 12 weeks. Naye, when I look back and I ask myself, kubanga when I changed the hospital, this doctor, he doesn't know my history.
Oh no, mupya.
So for him, it's just checking for. I've just come to do a scan because I am pregnant, and we are kebera na labanga. Nambuza, when did you get? When was your last period? Bichi. Nalabanga, okay, this is not it's not going to be a valid pregnancy, it should miscarry. Nangamba, but we can give you medicine to push it out. Yeah, to push it out. I said no.
You kept hoping.
I said no because I knew in my heart that this baby will appear somehow.
No, that was I
was like, no, I have not. So I continued 8 weeks, 10 weeks, went to a different hospital. Still the same thing. But this thing has to come out. I said no. 12 weeks, I now went back to my doctor.
The first one.
He did, and he told me. He was actually surprised I had, it was still going on up to 12 weeks. Because he was like, what? It's now 12 weeks and this thing hasn't come out? Because he said the sac inside is actually growing bigger, which is becoming dangerous. Because if it which abikira mu lubuto kijja causing internal bleeding, which can cause to death. And even if it's not death, other complications basically. Nangamba, okay, 12 weeks is really late. We have to now surgically take it out.
Wow, I know tira dala.
Netira dala. Naye we yangamba nti kijja kwabikira mu lubuto and it will cause death. That's when I was like, you know what, let me accept. I went back home that evening, and I was just
Very disappointed.
Very disappointed, just very emotional, crying and what, and my husband was just there looking at me and I think wondering, now what do I even say to her?
I know. Kale katugende tumulemu katono nnyo when we return to love what exactly happened. Tuline Phiona Nanozi anyumya olugendo lwe olw'okufuna omwana olutali lwangu. Tukoma otava. Tough journey that she's trying to share with us today to give help to anybody out there alwana n'okufuna omwana. Her condition was hormonal imbalance, but hormones nga tezibalancing bulungi, ali awo torn between a man and a woman, though she looks like a real woman. Tukomye nga ina blighted over mba mugambye agenda kugijjamu oba ayagala oba tayagala for her own safety. Adayeka very disappointed.
Yes, so
bakuwadde date ey'okujja oba gwe olina okusalawo?
No, it was as urgent as, it was very urgent.
So he wasn't even supposed to let you go back home?
Yes, so he told me, go back, talk to your husband about it, sleep on it, but we have to do it as early as tomorrow. So, nenzirayo, very broken, very emotional and everything. I ngamba my husband that this is what the doctors have recommended, and we have to do it as soon as possible. So the next morning, in fact, bali bambuking it day, nga sinavayo, never ngamba to go and sleep on it. They went ahead and booked for me for an operation. So next day netugenda with this, yeah. Twagenda we had the operation. Now that. So basically, for me, the way I look at it now that I even have more information about it, it is an abortion that they do. Just because it's now it's a safe abortion because it's under medical care. So that's what they did, and we went back home that evening. So it was very early in the morning. They kept me for monitoring. Then regular today waka. Now, how do we move on from that? We gave it time. Netugamba, let's give it another year.
Pressure.
Pressure.
But if it happens, it happens.
Naye katolaba ekyo kye twegamba netugamba katugende tetweteeka ku pressure.
No clomid, no nothing.
No nothing. Naye I am telling you that even 1 week, even 1 month, 2 months, without anything happening, it seems like 10 years. So pressure started building. Anxiety started building.
But
stress started building. Then I think even before the year ended, I told Nemugamba, Nayomanyi, maybe we should go back to the other doctor. The same guy we had seen, because for me in my thought, Molinga Ngamba, it was what he did for us was successful. However, it was probably not God's will, so it did not happen. The pregnancy was not good, so it did not happen. Nayenga solution yali atuwadde yalaga nti kisoboka. Naye ngali very hesitant. And he had heard about a certain fertility clinic because he knew about some people who had visited that fertility clinic. Nangambo manyi, let us go and see proper specialists. But at that time, we knew the drug tried to manyi nti expensive. Netugamba nesoka nemugamba let's first try because edije twagenda basically the only expenses that we had was zali tests nakole za hormones, consultation, nempeke,
which is
cheap. It was I think it was even less than 10,000 if I remember how much it costs, but so it was very cheap. It was a very cheap option. Nemugamba that place is expensive.
It is too early to go for fertility.
Let us maybe first go back to the other guy. Nangamba no. Ndoza kati ye muli yali alabye the stress it had begun to bring even into the marriage. Nangamba no, let's go and try these guys, but nabo batuwe opinion yawe then tulabe ekyokola. We twagenda, of course I come with my history. check, you know, this is where I've been, this is what happened, these are the steps I've taken. Nebangamba netukola tests buto. It was still the same thing, hormones tezikyuse, still, or in a hormonal imbalance. They go ahead to explain to me the condition because kati bakola scan nebalaba. They do a general scan, your ovaries,
your tubes.
What you, so they started, I started having names to the condition that I had. Before I just knew I had a hormonal imbalance.
So what are your types of hormonal imbalance?
I think, but now because you're having like a clear, okay, your condition is called PCOS. So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Your hormonal imbalance contributed to it. So now I'm like, okay, so now I have a disease or whatever it is called PCOS. And they now go ahead to explain to you, and this is a symptom of infertility. Before olaba nzizenga manyi nina hormonal imbalance, yes, nina hormonal imbalance esobola okugana okuzaala naye muliye infertility. I can assure you, if you asked me then, I knew that I did not suffer from infertility. Even no information you na hormonal imbalance. To me in my head, that word of infertility had never.
It is not for you.
No, it wasn't my portion. Anyway, no. So now they have gone ahead to explain to you. Problem Jolina is a symptom of infertility. Okay, then you start understanding. Then you start now. Kati notandika okukiriza implant. Okay, actually, ekizibu kyenina is bigger than I expected. Then mukola tests kati bano bakolera chebakola. What I like about them is bakebera system yonna, because system, whether it's a male or female, it is connected. From the cervix to wherever it goes, and webakebera ne basanganga my tubes were now blocked. My tubes were now blocked.
What is blocking your tubes now?
They were blocked because of the condition, surgery generalina eyokujamo olubuto lwali luganye. Now kati doctor weyagezaako okunyonyola nambuulira nti olaba surgery gyokola. It is a blind operation. It's not like they are looking into the uterus to see nti wano olubuto lwabadde lukutte, let us scrape this part to remove the remainings. It is a blind operation. They scrape the walls. So wherever it is, it will come out. For them, they have. Kati, that scraping of the walls caused scars to my tubes. Wow. So now my tubes were partially blocked. Which now
threw you into disarray.
Yes.
I can imagine. Too young. I'm assuming you were still too young, in your 20s.
Yes, that I was probably maybe 28, 29, close to 30. Naye kati nze mbeera mulinda, nze nali nkimanyi nti nkyali muto. And society tells us when you're in your 20s, you're still young. Obanga oli 30, you're still young. But the doctor told me, so actually we had two options, not to come back, okay, this is what we have found, and these are the possible treatments that we can go through. But maybe we can try this, because you see you're looking for the easiest and cheapest option out of the situation that you're in. What's the option first? Nangamba, toshali muto, emyaka jo
na kuongera ku bizibu.
Nemugamba, doctor, what do you mean? I am just
Katona gamba obera muto mundabika ne mu bintu byokuzaala obo.
Nangamba olaba ng'omukazi muli ku biological clock. Gye weeyongera okula ne system nayo gye yeyongera okukoowa. Amagi geyongera, quality y'amagi reducinga, n'amagi gennyini reserve egwamu. I was now like, so now pressure. Now I will turn. That is when I can say I felt pressure. The true meaning of pressure.
waliwo no bikugamba ng'oli wekka naye nga ne Mr. waali awo yeddala bagamba wano naye obwongo bwe bumugamba. So this is where we are.
Exactly. Kati olaba then kati nze because nze nalina ekizibu of course naye bamukebera kubanga bali they want you to come as a couple because buli omu bamukebera naye bakebera his like they do a semen analysis on him ne balaba alina sperms, are they okay, blah blah blah. Kati ye balabanga they checked him, he was okay. Kati nkimanyi nti nze nina obuzibu notandika okulowooza ono omusajja tagenda kundeka wagenda afuna omukazi omulala. Okay, nkugamba omanyiye your mind starts playing games with you. So we decided that, okay, we actually didn't decide. Doctor atwa options natugamba the best chance of you having a child at the earliest possible time is through IVF. Era twadde options endala kuba zino tubes ezali blocked nakola operation, it's called laparoscopy eyokugezako unblocking tubes.
Never unblocking.
It is not a guarantee also. Era bakitugambirawo nti eno operation tujja gikola but it's not a guarantee nti tubes zijakola.
So it wasn't just blocked naye yalina adhesion.
Yes. So ne batugamba yes, we do our best to, when we check we try to correct it the best way we can. Naye tetusobola kuwa guarantee nti zigenda kukola. So batugamba tusobola okukola eno operation ne tubawa 6 months to try. 6 months kasitazigana mukomawo, there are some things we have to still do before you go for IVF. We twakitunulamu cost wise, emotion wise, netugamba I don't think we are ready to invest
this much at this moment.
Yeah, let us go straight for we decided let's go straight for IVF because twalabanga the emotional stress is not going to be worth the wait. Already times of getting us stressed, you're beginning to have that tension within yourselves and things like that. Okay, let us just go straight for IVF. So we started our journey. Naera no sala want to genda kola IVF. Mulie katinga gwo omuntu omulwadde. Wogenda wa doctor nakuwa solution. Obeera olabira ddala nti that solution kigenda kola, it is 100%. Ate kati wotunulamu n'ogamba eno solution gye bampadde costinga sente bweziti definitely
olabedde nga kigenda
kirina okukola. There's no other way. If they are charging this much for it, there's no other way. It has to work. So netugenda netusasula sente zaffe to do IVF.
Ezinyuma nakwogera, I can imagine.
In that particular hospital, they move you from a certain section, netugenda, now to the IVF section. That is now our center. So one day we are there sitting, waiting to see a doctor in the IVF section. We look at the board, nga kuliko statistics. Statistics ziraga success rates with their age groups.
Statistics za
ddwaliro eryo. Nga balaga success rates zaabwe, they are broken down into age groups. So I look at the statistics, I fall in this age bracket. Statistics are as low as maybe like 20%. I told my husband, did you know that this thing is not 100%
guarantee?
You've already paid. There's no turning back.
80.
Then you look and you're like, so the chances of this thing working are
minimal.
This low. But you've already committed financially. So we're like, okay. I mean, let us go for it. And now just hope that the process works. So I started my process. It's in the process here. It is one nina jenkola. It's an 8 to 5 job. I have to come to the hospital every day at about midday to have injections every day for like a month.
Wow.
Kati okunyonyola boss wanti nino gena mdwaliro ku lunaku nina episoze enfuna.
ngemuseera waawo oba yeno gyoyinza okutwala ka lunch break n'okomawo
teraawo naye there's that inconvenience buli lunaku ovaawo. Then at some point zifuuka bbiri when you're I think nearing the end of the process zifuuka bbiri and they were being given at different times. It was just the whole process is very inconveniencing. The fact that there are injections to your stomach, I had even never thought of having. I knew injections were like on the bum, on the arms. They are now giving you. It was stressful. It became like physically stressful, emotionally stressful.
Stress
nakomao. Kati at this point, I had to tell some of my workmates about what I was going through. Why? Because abantu bakulabanga okolachi bakulaba otambula va office bulunako naye tebamanyi bo balowooza oba you're going on your own personal business, maybe you have a side business, people have all kinds of thoughts. Kati, so I had to now come clean and tell some of them that I am going through something like this. Yensongarachi, I need some time. And also because zine episodes zebakuba ziri hormonal, not every day that I woke up I was okay to actually just pick myself up and go to the office. There are times when they actually put me in severe depression, I should say. Naye process netutuka end of the process, they harvest the eggs. Nayenze cycle yange yali no getting a post because I had na reacting and I see reaction as such, but I got overstimulated.
Amajiga jamanje nyo.
So ovaries zange zali zizimbye. It was very painful. In process never soka never just stopping so that the body kind of omubiri gugezako okudda mu normal. Then I continued a month later. So kati bakuwa option okuchoose
olonga bamaze okujjamu okujjako amaji
nga bamaze okujjako amaji kati atenze condition je ninaye it has an upside which is like a good thing about it if you're going through IVF. Lwakuba nina polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is something ovaries ziba follicles bungi none of them grows up. Kati if you go through a cycle like IVF, you end up getting many eggs being retrieved. I think that is why I had even like the overstimulation and swollen ovaries. So for me, they were able to collect many eggs from me in one cycle. There were over 22.
Okay.
Yes. There are people who are as unlucky as getting like 1 egg, 2 eggs from a cycle. The bad thing with that is when they're trying to get the embryo, you end up losing. You don't get anything. So the option to play with options nyingi balina mangi ag'okugezezako. Ne batubuuza mwagala kukola embryos meka, ne tuchozinga embryos 3. Lwaki twachozinga embryos 3? Lwakuba try tukitegedde nti success rates teziri so ne tugamba okay katukole 3 katonda wanatwaddeko emu. Good. Well and good. There are chances that waliwo abalina n'omukisa zonna ze bataddemu ne zikwatirayo.
Singa mwakola 8.
Oh my God.
Zonna zizokwatirayo
na obuzibu we bujja. So ne tuchozinga 3 hours. Now, we mukola embryo transfer about 2 weeks. Now, that no more 2 weeks of taking a pregnancy test. Those 2 weeks seemed like, they were like the longest wait ever. Kubanga buli lunaku obeera ogamba obangende ate batugamba mu ddwaliro tetwagala mukole ezo home tests, twagala mukomewo mu ddwaliro and we do proper blood tests. I could not wait. My mother was very anxious. She called me, I think, like 5 days after my embryo transfer. Okungamba oba tuguleyo ka test tukole.
Nendoza every slight change in your body ng'ogibala.
Otandika kugamba oba today I'm feeling a bit nauseated. Oba today oba is my stomach looking a bit different. muli otandika no naye I actually did a home test. I did a home test, so I can say I cheated, and I did a home test before I went to the hospital.
After how many days?
I think like after 8 days. I nalisobola kulinda. Anxiety yali egenda kunzita.
Test turning out positive.
It turned out there was a slight, so it has like that first line which is clear, then this test line. It was very faint, but I could see that there's a faint line.
Okay.
So it nze nechinzizamu amaanyi nengamba okay, there's a second line, that means there could be something. Nengamba okay, katika ninde ngende mudwaliro then bambulire ekituufu. Twagenda mu ddwaliro ne tukola blood test, and it was ate ne bangamba n'okungamba hormones zo tusanze nga ziri waggulu, so there's a possibility that it's a multiple pregnancy, nti mulimu more than one. Then sanyo, then I was now having mixed feelings. Nengamba if all the three bonna babanga kati
omanyi okikubye room
nze nali ntandise okutya naye ekituufu kiri nti yes, secretly I prayed for two. Secretly I prayed for two. Naye mulinga ngamba Katonda njagala ompe gwe kyomanyi kyensobola. Bw'obola nti omu gwe nasobola kubompa. If there are two,
good.
Bw'obola banga n'abasatu, bw'obola banga nja basobola bw'obompa. Anyway, after a few weeks oddayo mu ddwaliro okola scan balabe how many heartbeats are there, and netusanga nga mulimu heartbeats 2. Me, I was ecstatic. I was so happy because this is what I had prayed for. Nengamba, God, you saw that I couldn't handle the 3. This is what you've given me. At that point, my husband was disappointed because for him, he wanted 3.
More confusing,
and we actually even we had a disagreement about it. We twafuna results. This is something I prayed for. We are clearly on different pages. We are having different prayers.
From the start, I want 3.
From the start, yeah, that's why we even chose 3. Okay, me, I want the 3 to all be successful. I don't know. Anyway, so there were 2 pregnancy starts. Kati olubuto now you're expecting kati ngenda kuba musanyufu in my pregnancy, and what? My pregnancy was also not good. In the first 4 months, after the first 4 months, abasawo nali kati chebakola, because I stuck to the same hospital, that same fertility clinic, nze gye nasigala nenkolerayo ne antenatal yange. They have regular tests because balaba byoyiseemu, so they want to make sure the pregnancy is there, it's okay, we are keeping it safe. Nganzirayo for regular tests, and at about 4 months they discovered that my cervix was opening.
Wow.
I was about to lose the pregnancy. Luckily we discovered it a bit early, but also it was getting late for there's something jebaita cervical stage bateka mwakuma okwata cervix emekwegula. It was getting late, so doctor we are so kungama nti the option that we have to keep this pregnancy is either you're going to go on like bed rest or report a cervical stage. Nasoka ne mugamba akatukolechi nasoka ningana cervical stage kati ngandaba BMPT already. I don't need more trauma. Cervical stage yo ningamba, you know, whatever it is kuma I don't want. Let me try and rest
on mulimate.
Katiao, that is where the problem was. Now, of course, kati nzirayo wakangamba hane kati ngambe rest. Am I going to rest? So all of government, I'm getting leave from work. It is still too early. If I'm getting leave now, then you're having maternity leave after. It is not possible.
That is like you're taking off a year and a half.
Exactly. Then also I can't say that you need the money, because now the kids are coming. The pregnancy itself is it's an expensive pregnancy. So ningambo money. Nasoka nanga weeks ibiri. I'm buying time to make up my mind. What do I want?
Already it's a bit late for the stage.
Yes. So 2 weeks later I go back, nebasanga it's actually getting worse. So now we had to do the stitch immediately. Naye mukola stitch omusawo nangamba, because of where it is now, you actually have to go on bed rest now. Nampandikirawo later nangamba, because namugamba, what am I going to tell my boss? That I'm going on bed rest at 4 months? Now, he wrote me a letter with whatever was happening. I now go to the general manager at that time. Then I started explaining myself. You see, I went through this to get these children. Now I'm about to lose the pregnancy. Katinino, I'm asking to be on what? I think for me the worst part about that timing is that we had a lot of problems at the office. They were laying off people. It was stress. It was a lot of stress. I'm now thinking, okay, it is going to be very easy for me to lose my job. Yet, omulimu etaga sentence etaga. Anyway, nasiba omutima nengamba kangende ekiba kibe. I told them, this is what is happening. You know, I need the rest. But I promised I would continue working from home. And they accepted. Nebanzikiriza. Nebagamba, it's okay, you go and work from home. Nensigala nga nkolere waka. But my kind of rest ate nayo teyali mbu. Omusawo yangamba, rest gye tugenda okuwa yakwebaka.
Sleeping, not lying on the bed.
No, like you have to be lying. So me, my interpretation of bed rest was you stay at home, less work, totambula tambula. It was tetwagala otuule nnyo, it puts pressure on the uterus. Twagala oberenga you're lying down. So for I can say for the next like 4.5 months, I was in bed.
So like the bed rest went on and on. Yes,
up to when I gave birth. So for 4 months I was in bed sleeping. I only get up to eat, to use the bathroom, then go back and sleep. If I am watching TV, I am sleeping.
So
nagikolanga naye nga newaliriza. Of course those days when my husband finds me seated, even for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he's like,
go
Madam,
back and lie.
What is happening? The doctor very clear, but even me I could feel actually that the pregnancy is getting bigger. It is putting more pressure on the uterus. I actually need to, so I went on like that till about 32, 34 weeks. Nentandika okufuna difficulty breathing. Okusana kutandika okugana ekiro mbeera I'm just pacing around the room. What netugamba basawo omanyi, I think it is time bana abaana
bammwe kale katugende tuwummule. We're taking another break, please don't go away.
Draw. 5 women will be selected and walk away with cash, courtesy of Cheaper Cash and Intim the Vibe. Win it.
Okay, thank you so much. Tukyagenda maaso tulina Phiona Nanozi atunyweza emboozi ye ey'obwannaalongo. So tukomyewa mubagambye mubajeemu.
Tubagambye mujeemu abaana bammwe tukooye. Nze olubuto kati olaba bino ebintu by'olubuto bibuzaabuza. At one point you really want it. Then otuuka emyezi egyo egisembayo n'ogamba bannange
tewageja okuba nti olina any walking around that you do, no exercising at all, just eating.
But my stomach was very shapeless. Shapeless nga abaana buli omu ali bibye, ono ali waggulu oli ali wansi, naye nali sisobola kulya because for me what I believe, it could be true but I don't know, kiyinza okuba nga kituufu nga si kituufu. I believe nti ono yali waggulu yali anyigiriza olubuto lwange. So nga ndye emmere nempulira ng'esigadde wano.
Nosesema?
No, I never used to. Nali sisesema, that was a good thing. Naye nga, and this is the truth, nga nyiza okulya, kampe example y'eryenvu. Nerisigala wano, nga sobola kulya mbusowani namba. Even like a baby's child, I don't think a baby's food portion, nga sobola kugira nenjimalawo. So, nze terampisa bulungi olubuto. In general. Naye we twatuuka awo nga breathing eganye kati n'ebigere bitandise okuzimba, nengamba abasawo mumanyi
tujjemu
abaana tubajjemu. Abasawo the first time nasawo nali ngenzeyo nzeka, nali ngenze ku antenatal I think like 32 weeks, ne baŋŋamba tetusobola kubajjamu, abaana bakyali. Your stomach is your best incubation y'abaana abaana. We tubajjamu nga tebannatuuka tulina obateekamu byoma. Ate in fact kati ne batandika n'okuntiisa, naye kati naffe ebyuma byaffe bijjudde, so mulina okunoonyaako n'amalwaliro amalala. Era ne bampa lisiti y'amalwaliro agalina ebyuma.
Kati ono mmwe mwatuteekamu abaana mwagala tubatwale wala mugende muguleyo ekyuma ekirala.
Ne baŋŋamba mulina okunoonya mu malwaliro amalala. Naye ne tugenda ne tunoonya, naye nga estimation ya incubators was between 500 to 800,000 per day per child.
Wow.
Nengamba muli nengamba okay, yes, muli nga literally I could actually honestly feel nti olubuto I couldn't carry it anymore. Naye kati nga tunulidde ne sente abaana be bavaayo nga tebannatuuka, tetusobola gamba nti bagenda kubeera. Then what? I try to push up to like maybe 34. Pushing.
The earliest it can happen is when?
No, they were pushing. Ngabagala ntusenga 38 weeks.
Oh.
Now I am looking at the time that I have left. Netuna situation gye mpulira nga ndaba bannange simanyi, naye nga buli lunaku nze nsiba ku Google. Nsiba ku Google mbulire omwembeera ndi ku Google. Nkebeera hakati ku 32 weeks abaana bakola ki, lungs zikuze biki basobola okusanga bavuddeyo. Netandika n'okubuuza some friends of mine, because nalina friend of mine eyazaala omwana we ngaali a bit premature, naye mu ddwaliro yamalayo obanga weeks 2 at most over 1 week. So nzikuya namukubira ne mbuuza, mbozi you gave birth to your son at how nga alina weeks meka? Nangamba 28. Nengamba, you mean 28 is okay? Nengamba, this can be done.
Mujemu.
This time I went back with my husband.
That is at 34.
At 34, naye katinga, it was maybe like at 35 actually, because twali tugenze nga tulina date gye tubagamba kubanga they were supposed to have been born like end of December. We were trying to push, ne tugamba okay, let's push them into December. That would be maybe like 37, about 36, no 36 into 37. Naye twalabanga ebintu biganye ne tugamba katubajema at 36 weeks. That was the 30th of November. We went to twagenda mu ddwaliro nga tulina date yaffe. On this date twagala abaana baveemu. Abasawo ne batugamba no, these symptoms that you're feeling, they are normal. Buli mukazi abakazi abasinga olubuto baziyitamu. Breathing gets a bit complicated towards the end. Abamu ne bazimba ebigere biki naye wonomala okuzaala, you're going to get back to normal. But I knew what I was feeling. Ne tugaana. Ne tubagamba kati twali twewadde ne tugamba it's okay, kabaveemu. If they need incubation, we shall go for it. So 30th November, go back to the hospital, and they had the kids out that day. Naye kati, me, that is when my life's drama started.
Choga drama tena tandika.
Yali tandika kutandise. Abana bavaamu and they were perfectly fine. Tebetaaga incubation. One of them just needed oxygen, but they take up oxygen for a few hours just to help him stabilize his breathing, and that was it. I think the night after I had given birth, my breathing was getting worse. I can't lie down, I have to just sit up. If I lie down, I'm just coughing. In the middle of the night, remember, my mom had gone back home because she had been with Yali Nagem all these days. So nali mu hospital with my sister and a certain friend of mine, because my husband would come and go. He wasn't sleeping in the hospital. In the middle of the night, muli nali ngamba kaninde obudde buche, then mpita abasawo balabe what is going on.
On you or the babies?
On me. The babies were okay.
Nga banyoka na bulungi.
I was still struggling. Gatemuli mabere, we are giving them a bit of formula, trying to force the breasts also come and what. But because nali, I was weak actually. Mulinga ampulida, I am not yet okay. Naeranga nchimanyi, okay, I've just had a C-section, so maybe that's why I'm still feeling this way. At about maybe like 4 a.m. in the morning, I told my sister, Katinga ampulida, I am not. I told my sister, call the nurses. So she goes, calls the nurses, they now do their tests. My blood pressure, my pressure was through the roof. Then the whole coughing thing, now I remember the next day was a Sunday. I think that doctors were not, like, no major doctors would be around, just in case there was an emergency. They called the doctor was there very early in the morning. Na kola ezo tests zaweze bakola to see the breathing, but teyatugambira wonti there could be a problem. Yangamba bugambi, okay, I'm going to recommend you to go and see a cardiologist to just see what's happening. Then by ne test bakola eze omusaayi, I don't know to check for what.
Nga pressure likomeka?
It was in like 150 over. It was very high. Even the ne heartbeat inayo yali waggulu nnyo. My heartbeat was above 100. Nangamba ogenda wa cardiologist bakole examination balabe what if everything is okay. Teyatugamba nti I have sensed that something is wrong. He natu recommending ogenda okulaba cardiologist at SAS clinic. Nyukira nakafuna C-section. Now we are moving. Now initially they told my husband katubafunire ambulance batwale. When my husband told me, I told him I'm not sitting in an ambulance. You're going to drive me. No, originally I was feeling a certain way. Naye kati ngampulira kati mugenda kunduza mu ambulance. Then I feel like I'm dying. No. So he drove. Netugenda ku SAS clinic. Jukira SAS clinic mu parking eno waggulu ku watoto. Netusala oluguudo Kampala Road ogenda ku SAS clinic.
Gwe wasiza ngwe ogenda kusala oluguudo.
Yes.
Choba wali wetaaga ambulance.
We came down walking.
It was just the two of you?
Just the two of us. We twatuukira ku SAS clinic. Jukira kati nze newe namala okuzaala, my body just kept expanding. In the normal way, I think womala okuzaala, the body starts regularizing. Naye my body was just getting bigger. When natambulira okuva ku waggulu ku watoto okutuuka ku SAS clinic engato nga tezikyantuuka.
Ebigere bizimbi.
Nga ndi mbigere kati. Netutuula, we are waiting for the cardiologist. I go, they do ne bakola x-ray ne basanga nga amawuggwe gajjuddemu amazzi. That was causing the coughing. Okola a scan y'omutima. Kati ekyasinga okutumalamu kali amaanyi with the cardiologist that we saw then. When ali ku table nga ali mukola heart scan, natandika otunyumiza. You see, eno condition gy'oli mu kuyitamu natugamba nga nti ali mukola PhD and this is her area of study. Natugamba natandika otubuulira statistics z'abakazi abafudde from this condition. Natugamba ate rates ziri waggulu nnyo in Uganda because we don't have enough care or the detection of this condition early enough. I zoned out. Ebyaddako byonna saabewulira kati ndoozanga my mind has just gone. I'm like, okay, kasita I'm going to die, it's okay.
Kasandisewo abaana bange.
No, in my head I just kept thinking, Katonda, I have worked so hard. I have prayed for this. Nkusabye okumpa bana abaana. Naye kati oyagala kuntwala nga sina baana balabako because I had nearly suspended the time nabo.
That condition happened after how many days ngomaze okubazaala?
Like the next day, because so that I gave birth in the morning, nemala olunaku, then the day after. Because in that hospital they should have discharged me like 3 days later. So second day, that's when I was this way. So I had not spent time with them. Never natandika okutubulira abantu bafa biki naye natugamba naye kati nabuza bba wange woba olinawo ssente namugamba woba olinawo ssente kati nsobola okukola ki okugezaako okudraininga gano amazzi agali mawugwe so that at least it eases the breathing. My husband is like, how much is it? Just do it. Kati ndowooza omukazi we yalaba condition gye nali munagamba naye n'omukazi agenda kunfiirako wano natugamba mumanyi
mugende
mu ddwaliro gye baba admitinze waliyo physician ngenda mulagira ekyokukola era she even marked natugamba ngenda kukolerawo bumax let him prick through here and drain water out. Netuddayo mu ddwaliro. Now it's late in the evening, netuddayo naye kati we twava mu ddwaliro because of the information gye yali atuwadde, people don't survive biki in my nampa n'eddagala basically like heart medicine to try and maybe to try and work on to try and do what it could. Naye I am sure in her heart of hearts she knew I would not survive. Kuba yangamba yatugamba n'otugamba, I'm going to give you this medicine. A month later you come back and see me and then we see what to do. A month later omuntu gw'olabye nga heart condition is in this, you don't tell them to come back and see you a month later. Netumbuuza okay kati neddagala ly'otuwadde is it safe for breastfeeding? Natugamba yes. We're like okay. Netuddayo ku ddwaliro. I called my doctor that evening. Najja n'alaba recommendation omusawo gye yali atuwadde to pierce and drain water n'agamba this is not a safe procedure. Natugamba because it's a blind procedure bagenda kufumita, we could damage other organs. Already you're not in good shape. So nangamba let me sleep on it, then we see what to do the next morning.
Nga pain ekuliete?
I was actually not feeling much pain. It's just that I could not really breathe. It was not like painful, but I could not breathe properly. So, and katina magulu, because the skin has now been overstretched, now my legs are paining. The skin, very early in the morning, Dr. Nakoma Onangamba Manyi, I have got another cardiologist. I'm going to send you there for a second opinion. That doctor, netugenda, netulaba cardiologist owokubiri. Wetwatuukayo. The first thing...
Different hospital?
Different hospital. The first thing that the doctor... Omukazi nambuuza, when did you give birth? Nemugamba the other day. Nangamba, and you walked to this place? Yes. Okay. She does her heart scans and everything. Nekati okudraining amazzi yangamba, I'm not going to do any procedure to drain the water out of your system. She put me... Basooka ne bankuba empiso. There's some medicine ekuyamba okufuka nampa ne tablets nasigala mu ddwaliro for 2 hours naye nga ne badedicating a toilet nga yange yabugamba buli omu I don't want anyone else to use this toilet because I was
susuling
every minute literally every minute naye ndoza ngenda naye ndoza naye kati katheta tekwatanga litemu
kubanga bajja kunga bateka mu ndala mpaka
kubanga nagenda
boina sizeyo you have to squat.
Yes, but every minute, and I think I was releasing like a liter every time I went to the toilet. So for like 1.5 hours to 2 hours, when the frequency reduced, natugamba okay, go back to the hospital. Put me on heavy medication. Nature yasooka okungamba. Yasooka nambuuza, aha, the kids, awubalabyeko biki nemugamba, yes, they are sleeping near my bed, but I have not really
held them.
Nangamba ngenda kusaba ekintu kimu. Tugenda kubayonza. Nemugamba, what do you mean? For like today, this week, this month, then I can. Nangamba, no ever. You're not going to breastfeed your children. And she explained to me why. Nangamba, because your heart needs to heal, I need your chest area to be light. Breastfeeding, basically pressure, what?
Eddagala lyako lyakaza n'amabeere.
Yampiramu n'eddagala ly'okukaza amabeere. Kuba yangamba n'okungamba, even if it's not about the pressure around your chest area, eddagala ly'engenda okuwa, it is not safe for the children. Kubanga bajja diyonkera amabeere. So when she said that for me, I was like, okay. Ate n'ekira yangamba, nangamba n'okungamba, olaba abaana, you've come here, gwe patient wange. Bali abaana nze sibamanyi.
Tebankwatako.
They are not my patients right now. Gwe nina okufaako. how are you going to get better? You're not going to breastfeed them. Nah, but she cancelled me because I first broke down and cried. Mulinga ngaba, how are they going to survive without me breastfeeding them?
I can imagine. Exactly.
The heart had failed basically. Kati after like 3 months, because kati ye nalinzira yo. For the first 3 months, I should say, I went back for review every 2 days. And in era nangamba nokungamba tetugenda ku and then will give the authorization at the hospital where you are to be discharged. So I stayed in hospital for about 2 more weeks, not because of the children, but because of me.
What you are to admitting our
kubanga yangamba kati engeri abana, someone needs to take care of them. That hospital would be the best place to take care of the children. So kati, stay in that hospital, I'll just be monitoring you from there. So every 2 days we had to move to come and what? For the first 2 weeks when I was still in the hospital, every 2 days we had to come back for review. After 3 months, Ngalaba, I've started stabilizing. That's when kati when I saw Okuja, she didn't even tell me what condition I was in. Kubaya ndoza naye yakimanya we mugamba nti omutima gwe gulimu eno condition. Katolaba oli doctor what had made me fail or what was going to kill me literally was the information giving. Engeri gye yambuulira condition gye nalimu teyali ntuufu. Kati ono we nabeerawo 3 months ngalaba kati ntandise oku-improvinga nangamba we wajjira wano. Left side had failed. Right, basically my heart function altogether was at 15%. Nangamba nokungamba olubuto, if you had kept that pregnancy for just 1 more day, you would not have made it out of that theatre. So everything that happened, I would say, was divine intervention. For kuinsistinga nti abana bavemu, even the way things played out, it was divine intervention. Katonda yachirimu. Kuba ngamba just 1 more day, no olubuto. Theatre tewandivudemu. So, yeah, I nensigala kudagala, nanteka kudagala. It was very strong heart medication. Pressure, ne pressure nayo geganya okuka, pressure ngeri waggulu nnyo. Ate pressure okuba waggulu n'omutima nago tekugenda kuwona. So, nagezaako okubalansinga pressure, trying to heal the heart pressure. And I can say right now, 3 years later, I am okay. Siri kudagala. Ne check-ups zange kati ziri anyo. Lulinga, kale yagenda nga extending orasokanga, it was maybe like every 2 weeks, na extending to per month. Walabanga, waliwo improvement, nakuteka every quarter, every 3 buli mwezi esatu. Walabanga waliwo improvement, nakugamba kati every 6 months, until it was every year.
I have a feeling kati otya n'okuddamu funa olubuto. Kulikayo.
Naye kati when I tell your experience, nalabira ddala nga there's a reason why God saved my life. And I only know it is Him who saved my life. For me to do this, nze okujja okwogera experience gye nayitiramu, okuzzaamu abantu amaanyi, especially especially abantu fe abalina obuzibu n'okuzaala, kubanga obeera mu bino ebizibu n'olabira ddala nga there is no light at the end of the tunnel, nga tewali ssuubi.
Ekizibu ekimu kizaala ekirala.
Exactly. Kati nze we nali mweno experience, kale nga maze okufuna abaana, I have even gone back to work. Nentandika okuwulira. So there's a particular workmate of mine, eyali amanyi the full story of what I was going through. Naye abantu bangi baali tebamanyi kye nali mpitamu. Kati we nali nkomyewo mu office, nentandika okufuna abakazi, different, because the company that I work for is a factory, so we have casual laborers as well. Kati ngo women I don't even know, I've never seen them, I've never talked to them, nga bajja ne bagamba, madam, twawulidde nti wazadde abalongo, kale wayitira mu mbeera bweti, tubadde twagala kumanya wakiko, like nange nina obuzibu. Kati abantu ne batandika okujja nga bambuulira. at first I was not happy because nali ngamba
ani yayogedde ebintu bya
bano bamanya batya. Of course it is only particular people who could have told my story. Naye mu kifo ky'obusungu nasalawo ne ngamba omanyi, let me take the positive out of it. And also because if I survived what I went through, there's a reason why Katonda yagala nyamba abantu. Ate omuntu wajja n'ambuulira nti nina ekizibu bwe kiti wakola otya wagenda mu ddwaliro kati nga mbalagirira eddwaliro lye nali ngendamu. Naye nga bakomawo ne baŋŋamba bannange even ne consultation fees tetusobola zisasula.
Okitegeera.
Kati muli nga mpulira kinyigiriza kuba I know what this person feels. Abasinga kati I should say mu bizibu byonna bye nayitamu my partner was there for me. But not si buli omuntu alina omukisa bwe gutyo. Abakazi nga bajja ne bagamba bawange yafuna n'omukazi omulala oba omusajja takyanfanako lwakuba okuzaala kuganye. Ng'olaba omuntu ali desperate. Ningamba I have to do something about it. Nina okulaba engeri y'okuyamba abantu. Kati bano bagenze mu ddwaliro they say they can't even afford. What do I do? It's not like I have all the money nti buli anajja ngenda kubanga nkola leka nkuyambe nkusasulireko leka. No, I can't. So I went and nengamba bawange omanyi nina ekintu ekinyigiriza mutima nti njagala kuyamba abantu abayita mu mbeera bw'etyo, but I don't know how to do it. Nangamba oba ogende mu ddwaliro bagambe nti oyagala kubeera volunteer in terms of nti ogende obeere nga we babeera ne camps, medical camps, osobola okuwa testimony yo oba okwogerako n'abantu okubazaamu amaanyi ebintu ebitwe, which I did. Nagenda nenjogera n'eddwaliro ne mbagamba njagala kola kyennyini. But I don't think okay, they have like their administration also, so I saw their general manager at that time. Nemugamba nangamba nemugamba I have a job where jenkola I do this and this. Nambuza kati oyagala kuleka mulimu okukola kino, nemugamba no, I need my job, it's taking care of my family, but I want to help people and I don't need any facility. Sagala munsasule in any kind of way. My service is free. Anytime you need someone to talk to or someone needs someone to talk to, you can let me know, I'll be available. Naye ndoza tebali tebasobola kumachinga okay, this person I know mulimu akola bwati, now they want to come and work for free. So tebanziramu for like 3 months, 4 months. I am there waiting. Naenge kintu kinyigiriza, I have to find out,
But 3 months, were you strong enough?
No, it wasn't 3 months after giving birth. This was now like a year. This was now a year after giving birth. Because this idea y'okuyamba abantu nasiga kale nali njirozaako this whole time naye nga ndi mu kulowooza abantu mbayambye ntya. Then a year after that whole thing is now when now I was willing to come out and even share my story with the world. Okubuulira abantu nti nze kyekino kye nayitamu, condition gye nina, but it's not the end of the world. Kati because I didn't safuna response from the hospital, I had nenfuna ekirowoozo nengamba omanyi ngenda kutandikawo ekitongole. Natandika ekitongole ekiyamba abantu abayita mu mbeera bweti. Ate kuba ne experience yange kati jengenda gye neeyongera okubisomako when I realizing anti mental stress gye nafuna nga mpitira mu kino ekizibu it was very much. Abantu bagiyitiramu many marriages are falling apart. Lwaki? Because of childlessness in the marriage. People abantu babonaabona naye nga tebasobola kubyogerako kuba tolina muntu kogenda kwogera naye agenda kugenda tandika okwogerako bagenda kuyita amannya oli mugumba biki. But what I asked nze kati kyenategeera nti abantu bino byonna babikola n'okwogera ku bantu n'okubayita amannya out of ignorance, tebamanyi kituufu kyeki. Abantu balowooza nti senga yakuloga, balowooza olina gwe wanyiiza nakolomera oba ebintu ebityo naye nga infertility it's a disease just like any other. Yeah? Your reproductive system ebeera and it needs assistance. Just the way you get heart failure and your heart needs to be. People get transplants, kidney transplant, heart transplant. Lwaki tebabogerako nti oyo yagenda n'afuna omutima gw'omuntu omulala. Okitegeera naye woba oyita mu kino ekizibu tugambe kati nga nze yakola IVF. Sagikola because nali njagala okukola.
Naye option gye wali osigaza.
Option gye nali nina. Because I'm sure nti buli omu yandiyagadde okufuna a pregnancy naturally. One, it saves you money. Two, it saves you all these bino ebintu byonna ebirala byoyitiramu. So nengamba there's a lot of information. Tuina waliwo ebintu bingi nya community yaffe gye tutamanyi. Naffe ng'abalwadde ebintu bingi bye tutamanyi. Obeera oyita mu buzibu kati olaba waliwo abantu bangi ate nze oba ekintu ekyanyamba ekirala nti siri muntu ayagala ennyo eddagala. So abantu bwe bambuuza nti nanywako habo ekituufu kiri nti sinywanga ku habo. Naye lwaki? Just because I don't like medicine. Naye kati ntunuulira abantu. And I'm not saying I'm not against herbal medicine because I believe that it also works. Nedi neddagala ery'abazungu lyonna liva mu habo. Naye nze kyembeera njagala omuntu agende mu habo ng'amanyi kyajjanjaba. Wobanga olina ekizibu n'ogenda mu ddwaliro ne bagamba nti enseke ze nzibikire. Ogenda ofune herbal medicine ng'omanyi nti nfunye habo wa unblocking nseke. Bw'oba bagambye nti olina ebizimba mu lubuto omanye nti ngenda kunywa habo kujja bizimba mu lubuto.
Okose ne ku logic ogambe habo na azibukula atya enseke byonna byonna obyebuuza. Ignorance is too much.
Exactly.
Yeah, ne medical care nayo expensive.
It's too expensive. Ne stigma yoka. Omanyi lwaki abantu tebavaayo kwogera nti nina ekizibu bwe kiti. Stigma nyingi.
Etubuuzabuuza nnyo ebintu ebitagatta. Fredo ina abaana bameka?
Exactly.
Kati nno nange alina babiri bambuuza lwaki toyongerako. Katebeza atayina.
Naye kati omanyi recently waliwo omuntu in a very good way bambi they asked politely. They asked from a good, I'm sure it was from a good place. Omuntu yajja n'angamba nalabako story yoba yali mwami mukulukulu n'angamba nalabako story yoku there's a show I did with NBS sometime. Nangamba nalabako story yoku NBS. It was a very good story to share. Nangamba naye kati abaana obazaako ddi.
Ngenga amaze kuyira ebyonna bye wayitamu.
So sometimes oba tuba tetulina bya tetumanyi kituufu kyakubuuza
naye nga ate okubuuza si tteeka.
Exactly. Naye abantu tebakimanyi bakulaba mu bufumba omaze emyaka 3 or 4
naye wana bubiri bwe buti bwokka
waliwo n'okubuuza kati kyotegeeza gwe toyagala abaana.
Alright, tukyagera maaso. Thank you so much. I'm sure bangi abakwatiddwako sheno because bangi abatudde n'ebizibu byabwe eyo gyali alwanye ne wenyini watuufu tujja information because abantu abasinga bw'amanya ku kizibu kyo tayinza kugamba nti sijja kuhandlinga n'akubeezaawo you're spending money and they're giving you either a wrong diagnosis obanga ne waba agitegedde diagnosis tamanyi ki kyakukolera exactly naye ng'ayinza obutakugamba nti I'm referring you to so and so so n'obeeraawo n'okangulawo omwaka gumu nga n'emyaka nagyo bwegitambula so ogenda okutuuka ew'omulala oba oli awo yandikuyambye if you're lucky to find someone to direct you to somebody else ng'ate kwegattiddwako ekizibu ekirala tulabye nnyo
kati ate n'ekirala ekizibu kye tulinaye nti society etugambye nti bwe muba temuzaala obuzibu buli ku mukazi ate nga kati nze gye neeyongedde okubeera n'emboozi n'abantu n'ekitongole kye natandika
bakiyita nti
ekitongole bakiyita Rainbow Hearts Foundation kati nga bwe nabadde nkunyonyola ebintu bye tukola we are creating awareness twagala abantu bamanye twagala buli omu amanye what is infertility kuba olaba ffenna we tunaamanya nti infertility etegeeza kino we shall be tujja kutandika okubeera more passionate about how we handle people who are going through it. Twewale okubuuza ebibuuzo ebimu, twewale okuyita abantu amannya. Waliwo abantu abamu, let me say you're married, then your in-laws ne batandika okubonyaabonya omusajja kati omufunira omukazi omulala naye nga mubonyaabonya omukazi temumanyi oba mwana wamwe yaki.
Kubanga musawo yatugamba wano ba it's 50-50.
Yes, statistics kati ndooza egyo emyaka egyasooka problem ndooza yali nnyo mu bakazi naye gye tweyongedde tujja it's now 50-50. Ensonga eri mu basajja as much as eri mu bakazi. Naye ekizibu kiri nti abasajja tebaagala genda malwaliro babeeraawo. Waliwo campaign emu gye twalina e Masaka. Omukazi omukyala yajja n'atubulira mbadde n'omwami wange okumala ebbanga bweriti naye baasooka ne babeera nga tebalina baana. Then later omukazi yalaba naye ng'omukazi agamba omusajja bagende mu ddwaliro, omusajja nga tayagala. Omukazi ye n'agenda ebweru ne yeeyiiya. Alina abaana babiri. Omukazi alina abaana babiri naye omusajja alowooza nti abaana babe.
Okay.
Kati yajja in fact nga yeebuuza n'agamba kaakati mukolere ki kati nkole ntya kubanga in fact kati yali ayagala kujja mu ddwaliro with a husband nga yagala bafune abaana baabwe kuba yagamba nze omwami wange mwagala tuvudde ffenna eri yonna twezimbye fembi naye ekituufu kiri nti bano abaana si babe. Naye kati in fact yajjanga abuuza naye kati wenzija mu ddwaliro balina engeri gye basobola okikola baleme ku revealinga nti nabali abaana si babe nti ye talina kizibu kuba yali agala bamukoleko naye nga tategedde nti talina kizibu. Kati olaba ebintu ebityo family ziyingiramu ebintu bingi nnyo. Abantu ogenda n'otandika okweyiya ebweru n'ogamba omusajja waba aganya okujja nange nze kangende engezeeko n'ofunirayo olubuto ogenda kujja of course omusajja omugambe nti olubuto olwo. So okay, Katinze, because I've interacted with many people now, I have had several stories. Ate je neyongera okwogera n'abantu je neyongera okumanya nti this is, it's like it's a serious problem that we are je tulina mu society yaffe. Naye lwaki problem ekyasigaddewo stigma nga tennavaawo. People embeera tegenda kukyuka. So abantu bwe tunaamanya nti eno y'embeera and it's a medical problem naye tebandoze, then I can go to the hospital
and seek help. And let me go to the right hospital. Si buli musawo agenda kujjanjaba. Kubanga kasala rumors ezo z'abandoga zitandika. Everybody you tell or who tells you that akugamba ebyekinnansi n'ebyekizungu tebikwatagana.
Exactly.
So you have to choose one
direction.
Have to choose
one.
N'ogoba eno line okukakananga ekumazeeko nekyoyina ate nga toyina kyamaanyi.
Nga toyina kya. Waliwo omukazi gwe baasanga mu katale. It's a true story by the way. Bamusanga nga aduka naked in some market. Ne bakubira police nejja nemukola ki bo nga bamanyi mulalo ne bamutwala ebutabika. 2 days tewali kigambo kimuvaamu. They are trying to talk to her to see how if they can get information from her about her, where she's from. Ng'omukazi tayogera. Then on the third day ne bageze waliwo ndooza counselor yajja nayogera naye n'abeera able okumujja okufuna emboozi naye. Omukazi ng'amugamba omanyi nze nina ebizibu bingi. Nyenze mu balwaliro gonna nsuze mu church n'enkoowa. Obufumbo basically obufumbo omusajja yandikawo kati lwakuba nemedde okufuna omwana. N'agamba the last option that I had nalina okugenda musawo. N'agamba nagenze musawo omusawo n'agamba nti nina ebyekika ebyentambulirako.
Agenda beyambulirako mu katale?
N'amugamba okumenya kaasi alina okugenda na running naked mu katale. Omukazi nga naye so ekyo kikulaga how desperate someone can be okufuna ki okufuna omwana n'ebintu byonna byagenda okuyitiramu. Waba agenze mu church asuze mu church tewali kyafunyemu. Oba agenze malwaliro maybe abadde agenda okulaba like general doctor biki nabo bamulimbye okumala emyaka talina kyafunyemu. Kati ne basooka ne bagana okukkiriza nti asen omuntu omulamu aduse bwereere mu katale. Ne bamugamba tuwe namba y'omusawo n'agibawo ne bakubira omusawo omuganda n'abagamba yenze n'amugambye adduke mu katale ngali bwerere kuba aliko ebyekika ebimutambulirako.
Ne bamukolera ki? Bamuta omukyala.
Ne bamuta because yali mulamu. Ne bategeera nti ono omukazi like she's the desperation gyalimu right now okufuna omwana yemutadde mu bizibu bino yemutadde okutandika okudduka obwerere mu katale. So gye neeyongedde interactinga n'abantu I see the problem is big. Ate kati nze ne we nali tugambe nga ngenda mu ddwaliro medication or even before the medication I didn't have like mental support. The mental support generally was for my husband. Naye muntu. As much as exactly. As much as I'm being affected, he's also going through his pain. Naye kati nze nali awo ngomu I'm the one with us who is sick. I want him to take care of me. Naye kati who is taking care of him?
I think getting to pressure muliko na dala in-laws.
I think okay we've been lucky that families are tezeeteeka nnyo muki mu nsonga zaffe. So n'ebyokutubuuza abaana nga muluddewo biki tebabitubuuza ebyo. But I can imagine that's like maybe 1 in a million families. Most families bagenda kwagala okwegatta muki mu nsonga zammwe. Abaana nga tebazze tukoze tutya biki. Naye kati kyetukola mu organization we also provide mental health support. Kuba muli ngamba ebintu byonna bye nayitiramu I needed that mental support which I didn't get. I got depressed, I was anxious, bintu bingi ebikumalako emirembe. Naye nga tolina gwa kwebuzaako nti oba basically tolina gwa kwogera naye as such. Kuba muli mpulira nti no one is going to understand properly what you're going through.
So aba abantu abatuuka gye muli some of them I assume can afford, but majority can't afford.
Majority can't afford.
Yeah. What do you do for such people?
Now, one of our objectives also is to help with medical interventions. Kati medical interventions, we attack it from different angles. One, the first angle is we help connect people to the right hospitals. Right now, I'm partnering with 2 hospitals, and so maybe we have like 5 to 7 fertility clinics in Kampala, in Uganda generally, but I have not yet really interacted with the others. Right now I'm interacting with 2. So kati nzeera abantu abajja jendi, I recommend them to those 2 that I have partnerships with. Kati oli ayinza, there's a couple that's right now they're pregnant with triplets.
Through IVF? Through IVF.
Bajja, and the way the woman this came, she was losing her mind. They had wasted a lot of time in the hospital, bamugambye alina ebizibu ovaries, akoze surgeries, buli kimu basically. Kati era nga ne sente bali babagambye it's going to cost you this amount of money. We baddeyo mu ddwaliro, now for their final medication ne babagamba kati you're going to need donor sperm, you're going to need donor eggs. And they're like, for how? Gino emyaka gyonna gye tuyiseemu nga tujja for treatment.
Batugamba biri fine.
Biri fine. Kati mutugamba tulina okozesa donor sperms and donor eggs. The lady was losing it. She was like, I cannot, like she didn't know how to accept that I'll carry a pregnancy, but one that does not carry my DNA and my husband's DNA. Kati yali awulidde nti organization too, we give mental health support, we have counselors. So omukazi n'angamba, the only thing I want from you is a counselor. I just want to talk to a counselor because I just want to understand how to deal with this situation. Nemuwa counselor kati nze byali tampitiddeemu byonna byayiseemu. Yankubira bukubizi ngamba I just need to talk to a counselor. Nemukwasa counselor. So gye twayongera okwogera naye, that's when we started understanding byali ayitamu, byali ayiseemu, baali bamaze obudde bungi. Batuuse emyaka kati gitandise omugendako kati batandise omugamba kati amajigo tegakyasobola kukola, tulina okufunira amagi ag'omuntu omulala. Bakebedde simanya kati omusajja bamugamba ddayo, there's no hope for you, so you should never bother. We are going to do what? We are going to use donor sperm for you. So they had to go through counseling. Naye ne maane mugamba do you mind if I recommend a hospital for you to try before we give up all hope nti basi tusobola okukozesa your DNA to do this? And they tried. I recommended them to one of my partner hospitals. One is they gave them like almost 50% discount of their treatment. And right now they're triplets with their DNA. So, and these people are learned, but because of the lack of information, they are specialists who can do this thing. And this is where I can go if I need this kind of information. Abantu tubeate tumanyi nti amalwaliro we gati jegali agakola ku bintu bino byennyini. Si nti bagenda kusooka kukebera abakumalira obudde biki. So right now they are there and they are. So for medical interventions, that's what we connect people to.
So right every person you recommend to them will get that discount?
I try. No. I try. There's another couple, so they just, for them, it's early pregnancy for them. I'm not so sure how many embryos they have, but I just know that the lady tested positive. So they also got a discount. Yeah. Katinze chengeza kokola. These prices are high for an average Ugandan with our average salary in Uganda. In most cases, you're not going to be able to afford. Ate kati jukira oyinza okola omulundi ogusooka olubuto ne luganda olina okomawo okola ki olina okomawo ogezaako. So people cannot afford. So for me, even n'abo abajja nga balina sente, I try for kati abajja nga balina sente, they are like right now they are the easiest people for me to help. N'ojja n'ongamba nti olinawo $1,500,000, me I know where to start from. I can go to the hospital and squeeze them and see that we find a way of helping you with that 5 million that you have. Then the other way of helping people with medical interventions, kati bevo abantu abatalina. At kati awareness campaigns, in fact, zenina, I have started with rural areas, right? Because these people need a lot of help. At least people who can afford, yes, if you just give them the right direction that this is a hospital, their process is a bit easier. Omuntu w'omukyalo talina sente, tamanyi na jagenda. Those are the people whose husbands have abasajja already balina families endala, so tagenda mufaako. So the woman is just there desperate alone. So now those ones, our intention is to give them like financial help as well. Kati right now, the last campaign je twalina yali in December, and it was in Jinja. And we are still in the process of selecting a couple.
So many people came up.
Yeah.
No,
we can't help everyone. What we do, the reason why Nonya hospitals to partner with, we manage awareness campaigns. Edwaliro limpa abasawo abogenda nabo because jukira abasawo bebawa education beba sobola explaining abantu this is a condition, this is what it is, this is the cause, these are the causes, this is how it can be managed. So bampa abasawo who provide education and they provide free consultation. So at least ovaonga otoyogeddeko n'omusawo omubulidde ekizibu kyo, in most cases they have told you these are the tests that we can do, these are the possibilities that you could be facing. So that's how the partnership with the hospital works. Then also, of course, like following up with them, we follow up those people who come to the foundation. We follow up to see have they got help, what kind of help, how far are they in the process, to also support them with mental health. Olaba kino ekizibu neobanga kale toyina bizibu bingi mbu oba omusajja akuleseewo oba ebintu kale which are the major problems, you still suffer. Why? Because for me, I put myself in their shoes. I suffered.
Atenga gwali olaba
nalinda bank
sente weziri.
Yes, I was okay, I should say. I had the support of my partner. I did not have stress. Nali sina stress ya family, mbu family oba sina stress ya ba in-laws. Naye nali siri okay. That is the truth. I needed to talk to someone. And it is even of recent that I actually talked to a counselor. Counselor actually Betulina. The first time I interacted with her, interacting with her because of the foundation. Talking to her, bringing her on board, and I ended up being her patient. Why? Because I am still suffering. I was nabadde nagwe ngambe joy ngambuza kale ngamugamba olaba the process I've gone through. Even now that I can talk about my situation in public, it is still hard for me and my husband to discuss our infertility.
The two of you?
Yes. It is still hard. We try to talk about it, but it is not an easy topic to. Si kintu kyangu kyakwogerako buli kiseera.
Molabanga mukyalina ebirala by'okwogerako besides what they already told you and what you've gone through.
No, kati olaba, because of what I've gone through, nze bba wange yali ayagala abaana 5.
Ng'olaba tokyayagala kudda mu process eyo.
Initially, I had compromised to 3 children. That desire, kati olaba Katonda yatuteekamu desire. Your desire, it does not just go away. My husband totally understands, and he's not. They don't know mugamba nti I'm going back for IVF. I'm sure he would not accept. Why? He saw what I went through. But that desire in him to have other children has not gone away. And recently we talked about it, but in fact how it even came up, I don't over try to ogera ku kisijjukira. Naye nambuuza omanyi engeri kino ekintu gye how I feel, how it affected me. And I said no, I didn't. Why? Lwakuba nange nali situlanga kwawo to understand kyamu affectinga kitya, or how does he feel to have someone where you have to first go for intervention to get pregnant. You get it? Because in a normal setting, we all admire to just be with your partner, and it happens automatically. Naye kati yesanze mu mbeera where his partner, we have to get intervention to be able to probably get pregnant. So it affects him, and he recently told me it breaks him, it breaks his heart that as much as he would want to have another child. In fact, I remembered how it came. So this year I'm making 35. And we were casually talking about, hey, so for my birthday, I want this and this, or we do this and this. And then he kept quiet for a moment and told me, no, then I asked him, what's up? Because I saw his mood had changed. Nemubuuza, what's up? What's wrong? Nangamba, the more he thinks about my age, is the more he's alabanga ekirooto kye kigenda.
Hope zimugwamu. Akyalina essuubi nti you can conceive naturally.
Even me, I have the hope.
But you didn't unblock the tubes.
We did that operation the first time, but ever since then I've not gone back to the hospital. But miracles happen. I know. Me, I still believe. I have that faith in me. It may be little faith, but the faith is there. That little faith. You know what? God has performed miracles for people. It will be my miracle that performs for me. Because I'm still hopeful. Maybe that's why he's telling me to wait. Kati, this couple that we are supporting, treatment yayo. It is money that I should have used
for your IVF.
For my IVF. But natuuka ekiseera kale nga nkirowoozaako, especially towards the end of last year, I had a strong conviction in me nga kingamba it is not your time. And it was
Doctor
just...
no cardiologist yakugamba if you ever go through that procedure again.
Oh, the cardiologist told me to wait for 6 years until I ever try to get pregnant.
Especially if it is through that.
Yes. In fact, Africa, people want to give birth and birth and birth to as many children as you want. If you were in those countries, the doctors would have clearly told you never try to get pregnant again. But you told me, because I know the community that we are in, African families want more than just 1 or 2 children. So sometimes I'm waiting in God. Excuse nti cardiologist yangamba njira nindako. As I'm buying time for my mind. I can say that I have information that can help me even get out of that space. But I am human also. I have emotions, I have feelings and all those things. So your feeling yokwagala okuzala omwana, and naturally, and to be able to breastfeed my children, it has not gone away. Enzijira olusi ne nkuba wala nenzijukira I mean I'm trying to help people to get out of this space, so get yourself out of it.
So how are the little men doing?
The little ones, they are so fine. Omanye, I can only say that God works miracles and in his own ways. I just, one, they are very bright. So I even joke about it and laugh about it, and I think this IVF process helped. Kubanga batulondera amagi agaali gasingira mu ddala obulungi.
So we talking about exclusive breastfeeding. Bya ddala oba bya kusaaga? They didn't breastfeed at all. Here they are.
And here they are. Nze kyanyamba olaba, the reason why I believe in counseling, therapy, as we go through situations in life, is it helps. Kuba singa nali sirabye no cardiologist owokubiri, and singa yali tayogeddeeko nange kunkansolinga, I don't simanyi kale engeri gye nandikikoze eki kituttemu nti abaana bange tebagenda kuyonga, because nalina belief. That's what they tell us. Abasawo kye batugamba, exclusive breastfeeding until, I don't know, 1 year.
6 months.
You shouldn't supplement because this is the best food for them. Kati nze ebyo nanga byendowooza kungangamba banange, my kids, how are they going to survive? And they're going to be like the kids who are ever the last in class and things like that. Naye omukazi yangamba nkubulire, ono formula gogenda okuwa abaana, it has almost, she told me 90-something% of what they would have got from the breast milk. Health-wise, breast milk, what I saw is that it helps boost their immunity. So for me, that's boosting their immunity, give them multivitamins. So my children have been on multivitamins ever since they were born up to now to help boost their immunity. There's like a cough that is going around, that's what they have. Then there's a time for it to have COVID, and they were okay. So their immunity, I would say, they are healthy, they are extremely bright kids. Milestones is always on hitting so they've not had any issues for me. And there's even like a misconception about these treatments, fertility treatments. Abantu naye nange nakiri nanga sinaba kugendayo kuba nasooka okumanya nti you're going to go through this. In my head nali ngamba naye abaana be bazaala through IVF babeera are they normal? Muli nga ndabira ddala oba ogenda kuzaala omwana nga there's something that is not right. But with education, that is why we need education. When you learn nezino treatments nozimanya nti this is what the treatment is about, then you know that you're going to kuzaala omwana, and they are 100% a normal children. I mean a normal child. The only difference is kati what IVF for me, what it did for me is it eliminated the process of the fallopian tubes. But it was my egg, it was my husband's sperm. They just made outside your stomach.
Biological children.
Yes.
Okay. Phiona, kulikayo mu byonna bye wayitamu. You're so strong. You're so strong. Some of us just hearing that process. Nti bagenda kunkuba empiso okumala omwezi. How would Okay, naye tofa wekata fana bizibu byokka. You can actually give them your number. I'm sure there are those who are dying to have it. Air Foundation area.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Tujina mutwe. Take up our Facebook page. But that's it for today. Okay.